record it on. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. My name is Steve Mills from Results Mastery. We're on a program here today. I've got John and Andy with us. We're expecting a load more, but not everybody's turned up yet, so we'll just see. Hopefully they will, and if they don't, they'll be able to watch this recording. This is part of my commitment to trying to help as many people as I can to be more successful. I've been doing that now for nearly 29 years. It's actually 29 years on the 1st of May. So it's quite a milestone I'm just about to reach. And this being helping small businesses to be more successful. And I'm doing these weekly Results Mastery live sessions. I do them every Wednesday at 12 o'clock, and each week we cover a different element. This week we're going to talk about membership sites and how to develop them, how to make money from them, and just really, I suppose, how fantastic they are. So they're a great opportunity right now. Membership sites, and just talk a few minutes about them. I'm sure we've all experienced them and we know what they are, but basically they're a way for people who have got expertise in something, and that could be anything from, I know one guy who's a chef, and he was earning his money working every day, exchanging time for money, you know, working as a chef, cooking food and so on. And then he decided that he was going to develop an online training program. So not unlike you see these, you know, multi-millionaire chefs on TV with their own program. He did it, but he did it himself. And sort of produced all the videos, set up an online system, and he was telling me he's making about 20 grand a month by selling his recipes and cooking advice and so on and so forth. So this is not always just about people like me who are providing, you know, business advice and so on and so forth. You know, some of you know my background is I used to many years ago play table tennis at international standard. You know, I could set one of these up and teach people my skills at table tennis and provide advice and coaching for people all over the world. I could do that. I've not done that yet. Maybe that's a project for when I eventually do retire, but we'll see. But online memberships like this are just going absolutely crazy at the moment. Currently, worldwide, the turnover for online training is round about the 3 billion mark. 3 billion, I think that's dollars actually, not pounds. $3 billion is the turnover for this industry. Now, this industry ain't been going that long, and it's set by 2030 to be $7 billion. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd like a little chunk of that. I think that would be really, really cool. And I'm going to talk to you about how to do that. Now, I'd like to be sat here telling you, look, you know, I'm an expert at this, and I've already got, you know, 10,000 people who sign up to my Results Mastery University, and they all pay me £39 a month times 10,000 people. You don't have to be an accountant to work that out. But the truth is that's not the case. It's work in progress with me. I've been doing this just over a year. I'm currently up and around the 90, 95. I'm hoping in the next month or so I'm going to hit 100 members. So I've got 100 members paying me £39. Not a fortune, I grant you, but as I said, I'm on that journey. And what inspired me to do this was I spoke at an event probably about 3 or 4 years ago now. I think it was just after COVID. And I got together, it was up in Leamington Spa with a very good friend of mine who does the same or similar thing to me. His name is Peter Thompson. Some of you may know of Peter, and I fully endorse and recommend him. He's great, and so on. Now, I was invited to be a guest speaker at one of his events. and he had round about, I don't know, 200 people in the room, something like that. And I was one of several guest speakers. So I go up on stage, do my 45 minutes of presentation, I sit back down, and then after me, this lady steps up on stage. Her name was Carrie Green. Go and check her out. Great, great lady. And she steps up on stage and says something like, you know, I'm a business owner. I'm not really a speaker, but I've done a couple of things quite well. She said, firstly, I've managed to get over 180,000 Facebook followers. So I've spent a lot of time doing that. And then I've managed to get 38,000 of them signed up to my female entrepreneur club, 38,000 members. And they all pay me £35 a month. And I remember to this day, I picked my phone up and I went, da 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 da. And I remember going, that can't be right. I must have put an extra zero in there somewhere, but I hadn't. That comes to, I think it was 1.3 million a month. 1.3 million a month. I just thought, wow, that is unbelievable. Now, I sort of did a little, you know, when you do something, you think that's incredible. You know, this must be brilliant. I've got to do it. So I set it all up using something called Kajabi. Kajabi's a hosting platform. And pretty soon I'd got, have a guess how many members? I had about 10. That was it. And, you know, it's one of those things. It sounds great, but it's, you know, when stuff sounds great, it's often hard to do, I think. And, you know, if you took, I don't know, 1,000 people who've tried to do this, I'd say that 950 of them have probably either failed or not done it very well. But according to Kerry, and I do believe this is really true in probably every walk of life, people play at it. You know, they're not committed. You know, Kerry packed her job in and she said, for 5 years, I didn't really make any money. I was getting members, but I was putting most of that money back into marketing, growing my business, building it up. And then all of a sudden, after 5 years, it went like that. And all of a sudden she was making, you know, significant amounts of money. Now she works part-time in it. She has a couple of people who, you know, one is support and the other does a load of marketing. She records a couple of videos to keep it fresh and new and does the odd sort of personal appearance and things like that. But, you know, good luck to her. She's done fantastically well. Then I got even more inspired. I met a lady called Sarah. Now, I can't actually remember her last name now. We only met briefly, but she was a solicitor and she developed, again, an online program. She was a solicitor working in London. She was there and back every day, 2 hours. Got fed up with that. She wanted to have children. She didn't like the travel. So she packed in a £180,000 a year job. And, you know, that must have been a bit of a challenge. But she decided that she was going to provide a service, a legal service for small businesses. And she was going to produce a membership site where she did videos and things like that, but also added things like contracts and agreements and legal forms and legal letters and so on and so forth. She was going to provide all that. And then she was going to do 2 live Q&As just on Zoom like I'm doing now. And she was going to turn up there on Monday morning and Thursday afternoon and people could ask her questions. So I said, oh, you know, how well is it going? You know, it sounds great. She said, yeah, it's going well. I charge £49 a month. I said, oh, wow, that, you know, that's not very much for legal advice. She said, no, it's great value for my clients, but I've got 1,082. Now I worked that out to be just over 50 grand a month. You know, not as much as Carrie, but you know, that ain't bad, is it? You know, what would you do for 50 grand a month? You know, how pleased would you be with that? I'd be delighted. You know, that's what this can do for you. Now, the truth of the matter is, as I've already alluded to, you know, whilst it all sounds great, it's not easy to do. It's easy to do the recording the videos, and, you know, and setting it all up and managing it and making it all look nice and pretty. But the difficult side of it, as probably with every business, it's the marketing of it, it's selling it, it's getting people to buy into it. Now, there are loads and loads and loads of different systems that you can use. I mentioned Kajabi. That's the one that I used to use. I've since used 2 or 3 other different systems, but if you go on to Google and type in something like membership site hosting services or something like that, you'll see hundreds of different platforms that you can go and set up as your membership site. You can upload your videos, you can upload documents, you can upload PowerPoint presentations, you can add PDFs and so on and so forth. You can do loads and loads of stuff and just upload them very, very easily. And go and, you know, that would be my first piece of advice, to go and do that. The second thing is, you know, when we start actually recording videos, you know, some people love being on video, they enjoy it. You know, I love it myself. I love, you know, going and helping people, and others don't. And, you know, there are various ways you can do this now. I saw the other day that somebody'd set one up using an avatar, an AI avatar. So they'd written the words and then they'd gone, right, okay, I want a man or a woman, and I want them at this age and that, talking in that accent, and so on and so forth. And then they just spoke, you know, the words that he'd written, and he'd set this up like that. Now, wow, you know how the world is changing. You know, that just sort of totally blew me away that somebody could do that, and I thought it was quite incredible. But for most, you know, if you're reasonable at, you know, being on camera and shooting stuff and so on, then, you know, I just say go and do it, because it's great fun once you get into it. And people say to me, well, how long does it take for you to do your videos, Steve? I said, well, normally, if I'm doing a 10-minute video, it takes me about 10 minutes. And they go, well, what about all the prep and the writing, the scripting? I go, I don't do that. I've been doing this 29 years. I know my stuff. You know, somebody says to, you know, do a video, Steve, on how to get more people to your website. You know, I've been doing it long enough and I can just do that. And do you know what? I think most people listening to this are being exactly the same situation. Most people, you know, they're experienced. That's why they're doing this. They've got loads of experience, whether it's repairing cars, doing cooking, landscape gardening. You know, if I was a landscape gardener, I'd set up my own online program to help people to manage that. So I go in, I do a load of work, they pay me whatever, £1,000 for it, and then I sign them up to the online ongoing training program, and I might only charge them, you know, like £10 a month, something like that. But I've got 1,000 or 10,000, get 10,000 members at £10 a month. You know, 100 grand for doing what? Because you've done all the work in the past based on your 20 years of experience. So this, I think, is absolutely fantastic. One thing I'd like to do just before we finish and go into the Q&A is I just want to share my screen and just show you what I actually use, because it's an interesting one, this. The system that I use is, as you can see over here in the URL, it's called Skool, spelt with a SKOOL.com, skool.com. Now, the reason I moved from Kajabi to this system is for this side of it, because as well as doing, you know, having my classroom with all my videos in it and so on, it's got some added benefits, which I just wanted to show everybody, because I think it's really, really cool. Under community, there's a section here, which is, I suppose, not that unlike LinkedIn. But, you know, you can go in here, you can type something in that's interesting, tell people a little bit more about it, attach a document, upload a link to a website, add a video, do a poll, add an action, add emojis if you have to, or GIFs, and then allocate it to either marketing, sales, finance, people, systems, customers, or strategy. And that's just, you know, basically what I do. We then post it, and then that goes out to everybody who's a member. And, you know, that works really, really well. And let me just cancel that for now because it's just a load of gobbledygook. So you can see here we've got either myself or my members posting stuff, and that goes out, and we can network together. We do it online, we do it here, and that's all great. We then got the next section, which is all the training that people get. So they gain access to all these different training programs. You can see, and I can add as many of these as I want. And when you go into one of them, you go into, let's say, LinkedIn Mastery here, which is a program that's got lots of different videos, all of which are fairly short, like 10-minute, 15-minute videos, most of them. And people can watch those videos, and then I can add some value here. And also add, as I said, documents and things like that. So that's really cool. I then have all my events, so you can see all the different results masteries. As I mentioned, you know, every week at 12 noon, you can see all them there. We then have a list of members, so people can really network together, so they can see who they are and what they do, and so on and so forth. So you can see there all the different people that are members. And then we have something which I think, well, I actually thought was quite, I don't know, not really relevant, shall we say, but people really embrace this. What this is it allows people to level up. In other words, to go up the scale. I set this up myself from level 1 being beginner to level 9 being a business god. You know, just me and my sense of humor, I think. But people basically get rewarded for doing stuff. So once they get above level 1, they get something free. When they get above level 3, they get something else free, and so on and so forth. So we start trying to incentivize our members by becoming part of this. So it's a fantastic little system. I love it. I enjoy being part of it. And for anybody listening today, whether it's the two people we've got live, or, you know, anybody watching the recording, if you were interested in becoming a member, you can become a member for free. Doesn't cost you anything. You don't get access to all the training. You get access to some of it, which is probably about 2 or 3 of these training sessions you gain access to. But once if you do become a full paid up member, it's £39 a month, which, to be honest, it's a no-brainer. It's one of the it's nothing in the grand scheme of things. You know, there's enough information and value in here to make you, you know, even as a startup, to make you 100 grand in the first year. So £39 a month, you know, is for me, I think, a no-brainer. And for me, what it does is it enables me to get my message out, get my 29 years of experience of doing this out there in the community throughout the world. I've got members all over the world. Just picked up a new member probably about 3 weeks ago in Argentina, which is fantastic. And so I just wanted to show you that. Yeah, if you're interested in joining, just drop me a line and you can very happily do that. Get yourself signed up for free, take a look around, and if you want to upgrade, you can do. So that's about it in terms of my presentation. So I'm going to pass over to anybody who's got any questions. So John, Andy, hopefully you've got a question, because there's only 2 of you.
I've heard of the school before, and I've attended a workshop on it.
Okay.
Can from my understanding, you can structure it that you can't do lesson 2 without passing lesson 1.
That's yes, you can. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Up to anybody. Well, it's either you can structure it where it's drip fed. So like every week they get a new video. You can do that, or you can say, right, here's everything, which is what I do for my paid members. The free members, I say, right, here's a sample. Go and have a look at that.
Can you
they get
split
like
the access
30
on
or
that?
40 videos. Sorry?
Can you split the access on that as well?
Yeah.
So you can almost have two sections if you like.
Yes,
This is the free stuff.
Yeah, and you
Click
can
here to
set
join
up
to get the rest.
multiple groups as well. So you could have different groups all with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you, if I were to build a course, let's say business startup, a very small business startup course,
Yeah.
would you suggest that all the content's got to come from me, or get someone in like yourself to talk about sales, LinkedIn?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's up to you really how you want to do it. If you want to be the person, then I think that's fine. But I do think there's some value in utilizing other people. If you got people like me, I'm going to promote it because I'm part of it. And so, in a way, you're recruiting your own team of people who potentially are going to promote it for you. So, yeah, I think I'd make sure that you get things tied up with an agreement, from a legal point of view, because I don't want to say, well, he's selling my, my image, voice, and I never gave him permission to. So you need to clarify that, get people signed up. But yeah, you've got the contacts and you want people to help you and support, then I think that's a good idea. I think also depends on you and your reputation. If you're like really well known, then if you're a Tony Robbins, you got millions of people that know you throughout the world, then it would pay to utilize your name. But if not, it's good to get other people involved as well. And I do that from time to time. Yes, Andy.
Well, I think, yeah, you're right. But what John needs to do is he needs to introduce the person, and the person has to acknowledge him.
Sure.
As though otherwise it looks like it's just taken somebody else's.
Yeah. I love the interview format, actually. When it's one thing, if you two weren't here today, and I'm just going right talking to camera, basically like I've just been doing for the last 20 minutes, that's one thing. But if we're having a conversation like we are now, I personally prefer that, and I think it's easier to do. So if John was on the video as well, saying, so what do you think? What do you think, Steve? How do you get more people to your website? And I answer that, and then John says something else, and I answer that, and so on and so forth. I half think that's a nice format to do it in. And I also think the fact that I'm able to do stuff live is an important factor. Oh, one thing I forgot to say, I do for members, I do a weekly Q&A. I took that from the solicitor lady that I met, and I do a Monday morning 10 o'clock a Q&A on Zoom, and people can come along and ask me questions. That's probably my favorite bit, actually.
You're adding value there anyway, aren't you?
Yeah. Because it's one thing sitting watching a video, but we've all signed up for video programs and then not really watched them. But with this, I try and make it as interactive as I can. So it's not just a matter of logging on to my Results Mastery University and watching a load of videos. Yes, you can do that, but you also gain some limited action to me. You can come along to these events. You can come along to the Q&A, and so on. you know, so
I'm thinking I might add this as some kind of, because I get lots of presentations and people who do, you know, business insights and whatnots and educational slots at the meetings. And that's where that kind of ideas come from. But I'm also thinking maybe I might make this a member's benefit. So if you're a member of Omni, as a member, you know, you get all this content for free.
Yeah. I can really see that.
Access.
It's like an added value, isn't it? I do that with my clients. I say, look, you know, you're a client of mine now. You know, we're doing this for you, whatever this is. You know, we might be doing all their social media management. They pay us a monthly fee for doing that. And by the way, I'm going to give you full access to Results Mastery University, so you can train all your team in sales and marketing. And that's good from an added value point of view. They go, oh wow, oh that's fantastic, I didn't know I was going to get that. And also it's good from a tying them in point of view, because they know that, you know, if they left, they'd lose that, as well as, you know, the social media stuff that we're doing for them. So yeah, there's definitely some value in that.
Brilliant.
Okay, any other questions?
No, thank you.
In terms of advertising this, what do you do in terms of your marketing for your?
That's a really good question. Yeah, so what we do, we advertise it, I promote it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, on TikTok as well, and YouTube. I've managed to develop quite an extensive email list which we market to. We're talking about 5,000 people. It used to be up at 20,000. I've trimmed it back, getting rid of all the people who you know, don't open emails, don't ever look at stuff. So I've got rid of a massive amount of people. It's now gets like 60, 70, 80% open rates, whereas the worldwide, you know, open rate for email marketing is about 15 to 20%. So we're getting really good open rates, and we are marketing it that way. And we've occasionally done some advertising on LinkedIn and Facebook. So we've been using those two platforms to advertise it as well. So yeah, so it to be honest, John, it's you know, when I told you about Carrie Green and said, right, you know, what she did is she went full-time into it, doing it, and therefore, you know, in 5 years she's now earning 1.3 million a month, you know, which is remarkable. I've not done that. I've not, you know, deep down, I don't really want that to be my only source of income. My goal for it is to hit 1,000 members. 1,000 members, 39,000 a month, just running that, and I'd be very happy. Thank you very much. And you know, and the great thing at my age now, you know, I could be doing this and almost retired. You know, I've no intention of retiring. I love doing what I do. But in another 5 years, if I've got 1,000 members, then those members, and I employ somebody to, you know, you're going to lose the odd one and gain the odd one and so on. And if we could keep that about 1,000 people, I could employ a full-time person to market it, and just keep it running and, you know, refreshing things, maybe getting some younger people in to do some videos as well, because by then I'll really be an old fogey. But you know, it's yeah, it's, you know, just a fantastic opportunity. And I'd also say as well to people listening, when you think about AI and you know, what's happening in the world right now, you know, this just becomes an even bigger thing. I met a guy actually, which you might find interesting, named Kane, I can't remember, say Kane Munkis, right? And he called himself the world's leading expert on AI. You know, I was talking about the avatar a few minutes ago, and saying that, you know, there's an avatar and you can select the person you want and so on. Well, he'd found some software that actually produced an avatar of you. So potentially this could not be me. This could be an it is me, by the way, but it could not be. It could be an avatar of me that's AI driven, talking to you right now. And I thought that, have we really got that? Anyway, the next second he pulls up Tom Cruise, right? And there's Tom Cruise there on the screen, and he's going, "Hi, Tom Cruise here." Kane's training program is absolutely fantastic. If you're looking to train yourself in AI, I strongly recommend it. I've done the training, and it's really helped me. But obviously it wasn't Tom Cruise, it was his avatar. But there's no way you'd have known that. It was quite remarkable, a little bit spooky and a little bit scary as well, because I'm sure something like that could be used for good, or let's just say less good things. Yeah, quite remarkable, really. But there you go. Right, okay, I've kept you gentlemen long enough. Thank you ever so much.
Steve.
It's very lonely without you. Thanks for your questions. I do appreciate it. And if you want to come along again, hopefully we'll get a few more people. I can't believe we had, I think it was at least 24 people booked and 2 turned up.
How long ago did they book? Just out of interest. How long ago did they book?
Only days, yeah, not like 3. I run it every week. So Wednesday, when we finish this, I follow up with people. Then I start on Thursday doing social. Over the weekend, I do an email on Monday, do another one on Tuesday, and then I run next week's session on Wednesday. So it's weird. I don't know why.
Holiday, mate. It's bank holiday, half term. It's
could
a bit
be
dire out there, mate. But I'll see you on Friday. We've got.
I look forward to it. I look forward to your session. Yeah. Do
you
want to promote that on this, just in case?
Sorry.
You can promote that on this if you want, but I suppose most people won't watch it in the next 2 days, so it'll be promoting something that's already gone. So, yeah. But anyway, all right.
See you Friday. All the best.
Will do.
Take care, Andy. Nice to meet you.
Everybody.
Yeah, night, miss you, John.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Cheers.